hinged king starboard frame, king starboard door, right? And then there's your double open outdoor where you're hinging on either side, right? And you've got kind of this, you get the gap in the middle. Right?
Always hinging on the vertical though, but yes.
Always hinging on the vertical, correct. So what are the applications where the double open out makes a lot more sense? Because we sell more of just the single panel.
Right.
So what are the
I think
cases?
it would be any time where you don't have enough space to either swing that door that's on the short side. You wouldn't want to necessarily hinge it that way, right? Or alternatively, if you were going to pull that door down, that you don't have enough room for it to lean out and be able to still gain access, like underneath a console. I
think the most common application that door is used is on the back of a console, between the console and the leaning post. And the reason for it is you don't want the door to hinge down. You don't want it to hinge up because it's in the way. You have to move out of the way in order to open it. And you're not going to hinge it on a side because the swing would be too long.
It would hit your legs, or it'd hit the leaning post.
Well, yeah, aside from the frame and mounting issues, it would swing too far.
Right.
But it is the most common application where you take a door that would be, say, twice as wide as it is tall. That's really the answer to the question that you're asking. The situation where you want to use a double open outdoor is if you want to minimize the door swing on a door that's twice as wide as it is tall.
And so
or working its way there.
You think of like a guy that's trying to do work underneath his console, right? If he has a door that's going to lean down, there's nowhere to lay down on the deck and get up underneath the console, right? Where if you have a double open outdoor, it's going to give you a little bit more room there as you swing those doors out to actually get in there and reach up underneath the console.
Right. Because I mean, as a general rule, when you can, it's better to hinge on the long side.
For sure.
Period. Like, you know, because otherwise you're just putting so much weight far away from the hinge mounting location.
Starts to sag.
You start to get some sag. So, you know, a lot of times I guess what you're doing when you're taking a single panel door that you know can't hinge down or up, but you want to hinge on the short side, is by cutting that door in half, you're making the sides the long side, right? You know, now instead of maybe 24 inches wide, you get two 12-inch panels, both hinging on the verticals.
One of the things that I've also seen as well is somebody that's accessing like the back of a transom on a like a larger like Bertram or whatever. They'll put a double open outdoor there as well. Probably the same application that they wanted to swing open where they can actually gain access from the front, lay on the deck if they need to. With the double open outdoors, do we put a batten in all cases on those or no?
By default,
all the build your own parts do. Yeah.
But there's only a single latch, which means that batten controls that left-hand door from opening. There's a latch on one. There are cases where someone asks to delete that batten for a specific reason and have two latches.
Yeah, we've done that before, for sure.
The challenge there is you're left with a gap. So if you eliminate that batten, so it is kind of a two-hand operation, right? You've got to open the right-hand door and then with your left hand open the other. So that is potentially one negative versus just your single panel. You open, you toss something, you close. But like you're saying, well, you could put two latches instead of one latch, eliminate the batten, and now each side is independently accessible.
Yes.
But you're left with some gap, and we can minimize that, right? But it's not going to be nothing. So it's super not water resistant, right? If you're washing down.
So as long as you're not worried about that, it's not a problem.
Right.
And we've had quite a few customers who want it to operate that way, where I pull the left latch, the left door opens. I pull the right latch, the right door opens. I don't want to have to open one to open the other.
Is it mostly just an ease of access thing? That they want to be able to use one hand to throw something in there? Gotcha.
Or maybe they just need to access one side. So in some cases, or I should say in all the cases, our build your own door, the latch is always on the right door panel. Well, maybe the customer needs to access the left side more than they need to access the right side. They just want that reversed. That's a possibility as well. And we've done that a number of times.
But the one that specifically ordered off the website is going to have the latch on the right-hand side and a batten with no latch on the left-hand side.
The interesting one that we've run into a couple times, which this is probably a much smaller percentage of a percentage, is customers who want a double open outdoor that is taller than it is wide. So you're still hinging on the long side, but you only have one latch at the top on this very tall door where you're getting so far away from the holding point, the door can rattle. It can actually start pull away from the frame and such. So in those cases, we have to figure out an additional latching
maybe a
option.
Barrel bolt down at the bottom or something like that.
That's an option. We've talked about magnets before. foot latches were the most common things that we've seen on older style doors, but those can be in some of the cases a little bit cost prohibitive.
Yeah. You could also do a bifold door where you hinge down the center, and it still is, now you open out and then fold the panel back in and back on itself. Those are definitely more unique
for sure
situations for sure.